No matter what your season, there's gotta be a reason.
All right, it is the time you all have been waiting for. It is
Again?
Yes, again. Round 2. I think, how many more rounds do we have? One more after this?
Yeah, one more round, yeah.
So everyone will be getting an email before the last round, before all the final decisions will be made. But this is the Millvale Music Minute. We are here with more band announcements. I'm here with Jonathan Kilback. I am Brian Crawford. This is the Millvale Music Minute, a production for the Millvale Community Development Center by the River's Edge. And we have a special guest today as well, which I am very excited about. We have Andrea here, Andrea Pinigis. Wait, I said it wrong now on air.
You said
I did.
right.
Okay.
You said it right.
Before we went on air, I kept saying, here she is, Andrea. And I kept saying before we went on air, like, I want to make sure I get this right. How do I say your name? How do I say your name? And then I thought I got it wrong, and I didn't, so that's good.
You got it right.
I got it right. Okay.
Pinigis. You got it right.
Fantastic. And we're very excited to bring Andrea in. This is your first year with the Millvale Music Festival, so very excited to have you here. Did you go to the Millvale Music Festival last year?
I did not.
You did not, so this is your first experience. Her first experience is dealing with 3-hour-long meetings. Every other week. Now it's every week. Mm-hmm. So it's not as boring as that, the festival. It's not as boring as 3-hour-long meetings.
No.
So actually, our meetings are pretty fun.
Yeah, they're not that
they were
boring.
Fun. Like, I've only been to one, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, our meetings are fun because they're filled with alcohol.
I was gonna say there's alcohol.
And cats.
Yeah, there are cats, and that's been a big problem with the cats. So right now, we're desperate here at the Millvale Music Festival, and I don't know if you saw the post that we had posted, but we've resorted to seeking out cats as volunteers because we don't have enough volunteers. So do you think cats can do the job? I don't think cats can do the job.
They're just going to jump up on stage and knock the band members off the stage.
Exactly. So we need human beings as volunteers. And just so you know, the song we came in on was from Paul Kostick, Reason to Love. But if you want to volunteer, if you need a reason to love the music festival, you can volunteer and make sure that the festival is not overrun by cats. And you can do that at millvalemusic.org. Click the volunteer submission form.
To be fair, some people might like that.
So you know what?
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting. But yeah, the volunteers, we will have a couple like meetings where you can get associated with things, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But we did mention beer at the meetings, and I would be crazy to not mention our wonderful sponsors of Victory Brewing, Oscar Blues, Trogs Bells, and Dogfish Head. They've combined forces to become the headlining sponsor that is under the Vicidi Distributing umbrella. He's a master distributor here in Millvale. And as the day goes on, we will get into some of our other sponsors and make sure we give them some recognition as well. But before we jump into the band announcements, I do want to talk about one specific stage, and that is the reason why we have Andrea here. Andrea, you were involved with the Rant Rock All Night Tour Music Festival.
I was.
You were.
3 years.
For 3 years, okay.
We had the youth stage. I call it more the teenage stage because the kids were older, with the exception of
Young artist stage.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. The young artist stage.
That is okay. We are now calling it that.
Yes, I like that.
So, but I did it for 3 years, and it started out in the gym at the Boys and Girls Club, and so like nobody knew that they were there because there wasn't any foot traffic. And how it started was my son was in a band, and the organizers had asked me what can you contribute to this? Like, what can you help with? And I said, well, I can provide backline. I have a PA. I have everything. I have mics, mic stands, and bands. And so that's where it started. It started in a garage and then grew from there. And it was pretty awesome.
Now, why do you have all these connections with these local younger artists?
Because of my son.
Okay.
My son he's been in a bunch of bands, and he's in 2 bands right now. And
what bands?
He's in Snowdonia and Wonderment.
Okay, very cool.
So, and he's been playing guitar since he was 6, and he's been in bands since he was maybe 12 or 13, and he's 16 now.
Wow.
Yes.
So he's been busy.
Yes. So that's how I gained a lot of connections. It was his friends and then other friends. And then whenever we went online with Rant for submissions, new bands came about. And so then that was added connections. And then my son, he also he also attended the School of Rock, and they had a program there where he ended up in another band, and so there was yet another connection. So it's just people knowing people, because the industry, or the music industry here, the music scene's pretty tight knit. Everybody knows each other.
Oh, it's a horrible music scene. Didn't you hear? we could barely even string together this festival. Don't have any good musicians, nowhere to play. It's rubbish. No, it is really fantastic. Yeah, it's a great scene, and the stage there was very successful, right? The youth stage. I've heard so many different compliments from different people who were never connected with Rant in the past.
It was. So whenever, of course, the first year, like I said, it was inside, and so it was bands watching bands, essentially. So then we decided that we are going to move it outside, and we put it in a really cool spot. We put it on the porch of the Boys and Girls Club on Butler Street. It was kind of down further. It was down by the Abbey. But we would have the Abbey crowd listening to the kids. And so we had it there for a couple years. And then last year we had it on the porch and at Arsenal Lanes. And it was totally a success at Arsenal Lanes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Arsenal, that would be a very cool venue for that as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the big announcement here. The first big announcement is, unfortunately, should we go with the good news or the bad news?
Bad news.
Let's go with the bad news. Okay. So, unfortunately, this year, let me transition back over here. This year, it has been decided that the Rock All Night Tour, and I did get permission to say this because I didn't want to jump the gun. The Rock All Night Tour is not coming back for another edition, unfortunately. They were the first, the pioneer of this multi-venue, multi-genre community music festival, and unfortunately, they are no longer going to be around. So we overlapped for 1 year, and I guess it's in a way it's almost nice to know that Millvale is happening, because not that you could ever replace Rant, but there's another music festival, so that way we still have a couple of these large scale festivals going.
Yeah, I'm excited to be involved. I mean, whenever I heard the Rant wasn't happening, I was, what am I going to do? Honestly, I didn't know what I was going to do. And then can I plug? Can I say names on?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Mary Jo Cole had pitched me to this festival and another festival. And
Deutschtown.
Yeah.
Which I mentioned that we'll get into what you're doing.
We'll
with
get into
us
that,
today.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she had pitched me to people, and so I was really excited because now I have doubly the stuff to do this summer, and which makes my husband really proud. Anyway, but yeah, I was really sad to hear that they were not going to have it. But again, sitting in your meeting last week it made me even more excited about it. And our stage is going to be awesome.
Yeah, your stage is going to be great. It's going to be. So basically, that is the big news. We are going to have a, what did we call it again? Not a youth stage, but a
young artist.
Another young
artist stage here at the Millvale Music Festival. It's going to be organized by Andrea. So if you were a fan of what she did at the Rock All Night Tour Festival, then you'll definitely be a fan of what we are doing here with the Millvale Music Festival, because we're going to be doing a lot of the same things, a lot of similar things. And can you tell me a little bit about what's going to happen at this stage?
So Jonathan came up with a really good idea. So how I always just strung it together is I had bands submit, and then I would put bands in. I would put them in a certain order throughout the day, and so he said, "Well," Jonathan said, "Why don't we implement the schools?" So, and the cool thing is we have two of the schools. We have Sunburst School of Music, and we have the School of Rock. So then he said, "Are there bands that have spun off from those schools?" And I said, "Why, yes, there are bands." So we have those two schools, and then we have the bands that have spun off of the schools. And then in the middle, we have Calber, which is a perfect fit because it's going from, so Sunburst is more of an indie. That's the type of music that they do. They're not harder edge. They're more of an indie. So it's them, and then two bands after that, Wonderment and Electric Army, will be the spin-off bands from Sunburst. And then Cowbird will be in the middle, and Cowbird's the perfect band, as Jonathan said, with muscle.
Very transitional between the two halves.
Yes, and they're the perfect band to put before School of Rock because School of Rock is more edgy. So it will be their house band. So Cowbird will go into School of Rock, and then School of Rock will go into Chasing the Sun, and then after that it will go into Snowdonia. So it's the perfect setup. Honestly, we couldn't think of a more perfect setup.
It was just some sleepy Saturday morning. We were just like, hey, let's meet at the library. We just go there.
Yeah.
Sheena's hanging out in there, part of the festival as well.
That's like a really cool space, I think, for bands at that library.
Yeah, that deck is fantastic.
A big, beautiful deck.
Big
Yes.
deck. I don't know, like I think I said it last week, but I don't know if they intended for that to be a stage, but damn it, it's a great stage.
Yeah, it works out perfectly.
It does. It really does. And like I said, I'm excited for the bands that are playing. And my goal is to get these kids out there because it's just, there's so much talent in this city that people are unaware of. And I'm just hoping that this will be, the platform that we can put them on and have lots of people see them and hopefully further them down in their music journey because this is what these kids want to do.
I'll be honest, whenever you first got involved, I thought that you worked for the School of Rock for one of them.
No.
Because you just seem to know all of these people and have all of these connections in that scene. I just assumed that you were an employee at one of them and you just happened to, this is like your profession. You just come in and set this up and it happens.
Well, Luke, my son, he's at School of Rock. So he started at Sunburst, and then he went to School of Rock. So he's been to a couple of the schools. So that's my huge connection. And he's also with house band at School of Rock. So he'll be in 3 of the bands. He'll be in Wonderment, he'll be in School of Rock, and he will be in Snowdonia. So it's all Luke all the time.
Too bad. How old is he?
He's 16.
See, if he was 21, we'd give him a few drinks for that.
Right?
Speaking of which, if you have a rant certification, we do need you to apply at millvalemusic.org as a volunteer. Figured I'd just throw that in there.
Yeah.
So this is exciting. I'm very excited. And to give some more breaking news, because I don't think this has been announced yet, so we'll break it here on the minute. I did get permission for this as well. There's going to be a second young adult stage at a second music festival this year. Do you want to break the news?
Deutschtown,
yeah. So the Deutschtown Music Festival will also...
I'm so excited about that, too.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So there's going to be 2 multiple young adult or young
artist stages.
I know, that's
Come
a hard thing
on.
for me to say. Young artist stage. Thank you. It's going to be several young artist stages at multiple festivals. So if for some reason you can't make it to ours, you can make it to theirs. But I would suggest making it to both of them. Enjoying the music twice. So.
And I do have to say one thing, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, go
I
for
do
it.
have to say, though, Mary Jo, if it wasn't for her, honestly, like allowing me to do this, I don't think that they would have happened.
No, yeah. I mean,
And,
these 2
like,
stages.
I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, she's ultimately the one who suggested it. She always wants to get the kids out there. She includes them like on her Little Italy days and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for her, then I really don't think that this stage would exist or goes for as far as it has been.
Yeah, she's been wonderful, and she had reached out actually to both Cody and I in a private message on Facebook, and it was before we announced it here tonight about Rant not coming to pass in the future, and she said that she thought it may not come back again, and she really wanted to make sure that youth stage, or the young artist stage as we're calling it now, carried on to other festivals, and she wanted to make sure that lived. So I think it's kind of cool in a way that both of these festivals, both the Millvale Music Festival and Deutschtown, have a piece of Rant within them, which is kind of special.
It's because Rant was really amazing.
It was, yeah.
I loved running to Kativo 2 a.m. with a drum kit. For a punk band who like broke theirs or something, and then going back at like 3 a.m. to go get it. But it was fun. It was. Okay, so it's going to sound cliche, but it's kind of magical.
Yeah, no, I understand. It goes back to that old story from last year. We had a magical moment where people were laughing at me because I was riding down Grant Avenue in a bike with the soundboard sticking out of the basket, and it was just such a great image. And
That's awesome.
People were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I got to get this working." There was a board that went down, and we made it work. So.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I'm excited. So before we go into Jonathan's list of band announcements, and thank you so much, Andrea, for
Thank you.
joining us. You're welcome to chime in as we mention these band announcements as well. But I did want to talk about our sponsors. We have wonderful sponsors here with the Millvale Music Festival. So I'm trying to engineer as well. So we've got, obviously we mentioned the main headlining sponsor, the 5 years from Vicini's.
Mention them again. Come on.
All right, let's mention them one more time. Why not?
Why
so
not?
we have Victory Brewing, Oscar Brews Brewing, Trogs Independent Brewing, Bell's Independent Brewing, and Dogfish Head. And also, we are very happy and thrilled to have the following sponsors involved in the Millvale Music Festival for year 2. The Millvale Community Development Corporation, the Rivers Edge Radio Network, Millvale Borough, Sidekick Media Services, the Millvale Yoga Collective, Grist House Brewing, Commonwealth Press, Z-Trip, Punksburg, Jeff Wolcutch Auto Body, Double L Bar, First National Bank, Cousins Lounge, Guitar Center, Here Corp, Sidelines, U.S. Foods Service, New Sun Rising, Han Funeral Home, Salon 22, Tazadora, Attic Records, and we've got George Satterley Dentist, and we also have the Millvale Gardens as well. So wonderful sponsors here for the Millvale Music Festival. And our festival is 100% paid for by our sponsors and donations and things like that, so which is something that I'm really proud of. And 100% of that sponsorship money does go into funding the festival in one way or the other. So
Oh, yeah.
very cool. So now, the moment you've all been waiting for. We have
Again.
round 2. We're going to announce some of the bands that will be performing at this year's festival. And remember, if you're listening, if you don't hear your name yet, do not worry. We still have another week to go. So, and everyone will be notified regardless before we reach our final schedule. So, what do we have, Jonathan?
Well, I want to segue first from the young artist stage that we were talking about over at the library, that we do have another stage of younger artists.
All right.
And that's over at Element Church. And if you remember that party last year, I don't know, what the folks from Element did on their end to get people to come over, but that place was slammed from the very first band.
Great.
And that was awesome, and I'm hoping to do it again this year.
They have a wonderful stage in there too.
Yeah.
Andrea, you've never been in there, have you? So their stage is great for a church, because it's more of a modern church. It was actually a bank that was converted into a church, and they have professional sound and lighting and everything.
But yeah, I remember stepping into that stage. I was finishing up running around some extra sound equipment to do a couple stages, and the metal stage wasn't started up yet, so I went for a short walk. I wanted to make sure things were going good at those places that I dropped off the equipment at, making sure everyone was settled in. And I walked past Element, and I'm like, I'm just going to pop in for a second. And Big Blitz was playing last year. And I walk in there, and it was wonderful because I had a whole bunch of other metal friends who just got to the festival early, and they just popped in there like, oh my God, these guys.
That's awesome.
And so for Element Church, I'd like to tell the world that Big Blitz is coming back.
All right.
And additionally on that stage is Vertical 48, Luke B. Wood, Party Foul, Shin Guard, Before You Leave, and one more I'm still waiting on, so hold on.
We're going to hold off on that one. See, there
Yeah.
are still spots
Yes.
that we're still working through.
And speaking of spots that we were holding off of, I do have an announcement for the Bar 3 lineup, because we did finally add the final band to that lineup, and that would be Latecomer.
Okay, very cool.
So Bar 3 now has our final time slot taken care of. And where are we going to move over to next? Oh, yes. Yes. So you mentioned one of our sponsors is the Gardens of Millvale.
Yes,
Well, they also have a stage.
they do this year, yeah, which will be very cool.
How about that? And would you please explain to the fine folks out there what the Gardens of Millvale is?
Yeah, so basically, if I can understand it correctly, it's basically properties that the Development Corporation had taken over, and I believe they were probably dilapidated houses and things like that, and they raised the land and they turned it into gardens. That's my understanding of it.
Yeah.
So the Development Corporation owns these plots of land, the Millvale Community Gardens, and they grow food there. They actually grow some hops there that I believe Grist House uses some of the hops that are grown there at the gardens. They have wonderful vegetables and things like that that you can actually buy every once in a while at Gap Park. and it's a really, really great organization. It's nonprofit under the umbrella of the Millvale Community Development Corporation, which is what we are under as a music festival as well. So it's really cool.
And it's also a community garden, right? Because like, especially in a place like Millvale, not everyone has like a big yard.
Yes.
So like everyone in the community, if they want to plant some stuff in the garden, they can.
I think you probably have to communicate with them.
But I think that's what they do, if I recall, right?
I don't know. I'm not as involved in the gardens as I am in other.
I am 95% certain that's
We'll
what
ask
goes on there.
Denise, who runs she's the kind of the point person at the gardens, and we'll get clarification for you
Yes.
next week. So
Anywho, it's a really green area, so when the festival happens, there's going to be a lot of stuff sprouting up out of the ground, and it's going to be like looking really nice and like really green.
gonna be beautiful.
So what do you think we were going to put there? Come on, makes sense.
punk,
Death metal.
yeah.
No, we're putting folk, Americana, and bluegrass there.
I gotta be fair though. Jonathan, as well as Zach Fell, who's one of the station YouTuber, like the station managers of the Metal Edge, they put together a festival in a park that was all metal, so it can be done. But no. So you said folk.
People weren't planning stuff in there though.
This is true.
Yeah. Anyways, so this is the lineup for the Gardens of Millvale. We have Gathering Waters, Lonesome Lost, and Foggy. That's like
Nice.
a long night out drinking. Lonesome Lost and Foggy. The Lonely Lights, the Mixus Brothers, the
Nice.
Armadillos, the Shameless Hex, and Urza's Authentic Snake Elixir.
That is an awesome name.
I love that name. I was instantly attracted to it as soon as I saw that in the submission list.
That is cool, and that is.
And then I was telling other folks about it, and they're like, "Oh, that name, yeah."
Yeah, that's a good name. I like that name. That place will also be serving Grist House beer, so we're gonna
Yes.
have. It's going to be pretty great. So that place will have Grist House beer. Obviously, at Grist House will be serving Grist House beer.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
be serving their own. But then outside of that, in Dry Log, which will be serving Dry Log, everything else is going to have that Victory, Oscar Blues, Trogs, Bells, and Dogfish Head. So really high quality
Yeah.
beers that you're going to
I
be able
will
to
say
buy.
that we might be squeezing another time slot in there, but we'll see.
Okay, cool.
We'll see. So, to be determined.
Sweet.
All right, let's move on to... Oh, yes, I finally get to mention this lineup. It took a while to get everything locked in because some emails did go to some people's spam folders, and
Okay.
they didn't get them right away, and I had to follow up with them. Hey, check your spam folder.
So if you're
But
listening right now, check your spam folder.
The Sedgwick Street Art Stage.
Oh, great.
Finally, we can announce this, and we were talking about the art stage for the art gallery along the street for...
So that stage, we're going to be shutting down the street,
Yeah.
and we're going to have visual art on both sides of the street that you'll be able to explore as we expand from being a music festival to being really a music and arts festival.
So we have a lineup of very artsy music, and it's a wide variety, all kinds of different styles. So I'll just run down the names. Jenny and the Jags,
Which
yes,
have organized.
go ahead.
Jenny Sines, who is in that band and in the lead singer, she has organized all but one of our fundraisers this year, which have been extremely successful.
Oh, she absolutely amazing job she's doing. Oh, I can't thank her enough. Every time I see her, I'm like, I really appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, so Jenny and the Jags, Revival Choir, which if you go to Acoustic Cafe, you might know them. The Goodfoots, Nightly Standard, good stuff. Balloon Ride Fantasy, Different
Nice.
Places in Space, Lee Robinson and Iska, so we're throwing some jazz in there, and the Flow Band, so we're closing it out with reggae.
Very cool. So I will say they're very passionate, the Flow Band.
Yeah,
so
they
it's
are.
going to be exciting
Yes.
to see them play.
And all right, next stage. Slide over here. Oh, this is the doozy. Double L Bar, because we did this last year and doing it again this year. We completely packed this place from the earliest time slot we could to the latest time slot we could. So we have 12 bands at Double L Bar.
Wow.
I think last year was 11, so I upped it by one. All right, so we have Acrazia. Today is the best day ever. Actually, Millvale Music Festival will be the best day ever.
They'll be playing on the
Yes.
best day ever.
Six Demon Bag, the Paul LeBryce Band, the Shadow Event, Raven Clifton, Native Alloys, the Keep It Downs, a lot of bands, Grand Prismatic, There You Are, Garter Shake, and the Me Too's.
Very cool. Now, the Me Too's, Kevin, who is a member of the Me Too's, was one of the planning members of the rant committee. So there we go.
Yeah, he's going on when I have most of these times all figured out, so he gets to close it out at like 11:30. It's gonna be a party.
Nice.
All right. Okay, I announced that stage already. I announced that one. I announced that one. All right. This is the one I was able to put a little bit of my own, personal stamp on.
Yes.
Me, Zach Fell, and of course the other booking folks as well. But the Fun House at Mr. Small's, our metal stage.
Yes, it's moved from Millvale Studios.
Because of the fire.
Millvale
Sad
Studios
face.
is even too hardcore for the metal stage right now.
But it's not just metal. We started off with hard rock.
Okay.
I mean, still metal-ish,
Yeah.
but we wanted to tap into some hard rock as well, because if we're doing just straight metal all the way, we'd be ignoring hard rock. So we need to give some hard rock some love. We're going to have hard rock sprinkled throughout a couple other stages throughout the festival, but this one is more obvious that, the hard rock bands are, well blended with these metal bands. It's just a better mix. So for the Fun House at Mr. Small's, we have The Art of Burning Bridges, Winter's Descent, Alter the Design, Reign of Z, Nefel, which I'm really excited for them. They haven't played a lot of shows, but they're an extremely, extremely talented progressive band where they're just playing their instruments as, I wouldn't say as crazily as they could, because there's a lot of order to their music, but to an extremely, extremely high level of expertise, should I say. So after Nefel is Homicide Black, Veiled, which is a brand new black metal band here in Pittsburgh I'm really excited about, Videotapes, Disillusion Effect, and Shrouded in Neglect.
Very cool.
Hell yeah.
Great.
Hell yeah. All right.
Yeah, last year I was there. That fun house, just to show you how busy it was. Maybe I shouldn't say the numbers because I don't know if I. Let's just say it was packed in there. I think last year for the music festival, the fun house, I think that was their largest crowd ever. And they do a pretty good job there.
We did a bit of an after party thing there last year, so very different animal from this year's programming there.
But it was packed.
Yeah.
That was the River's Edge stage last year, the fun house, and we had a webcam in there because we live stream our stage.
Yeah.
And
we're going to be doing that this year, but as a part of the Metal Edge instead, which is kind of sort of the same thing.
Same company,
Metal Edge, River's Edge.
So that's at metaledgepgh.com, all local metal music. But last year I had that up there, but because I didn't have enough volunteers to do what I needed to do, I was running around doing things. Andrea, you know how it is. You've been involved in festivals. Yep. You don't get to sit down. So I'd be watching the stage on my phone, live streaming, and all of a sudden I'd see the camera go whoop. Then I have to run back to the fun house to reposition it and try to get it back because there were so many people in there that it was like you were literally shoulder to shoulder people. I go to the fun house all the time. They always do a great job and have a great crowd, but I've never seen it as busy as I did that night ever.
We've done. I
basically lived there for 2 years. Too.
Yeah, the Metal Edge has done some broadcasts there already.
Yeah,
and the last time we were there, we did have some people knocking into our camera. Yeah. So we got to work out a solution. Actually, I want to straight up zip tie it to one of the rafters.
Yeah, it would
up
be
top.
cool.
Maybe a couple cams, 3 cams. I might have to buy us a couple extra webcams.
We've got a couple here too. So
yeah, but don't you want to stream from somewhere else?
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, there we go. We might have to use our webcams for something else. We'll see. But I want to close it off with a stage that I actually do not have the full lineup for yet. Again, we need some folks to check their email, but I got everybody but 2, so I'll go ahead and announce the other artists. So during our meetings, we're still calling Drylog. And notice how I called it Drylog, but it changed its name.
I think I called it Drylog too.
Yeah.
They just changed their name.
It just changed their name. Right now, actually, I won't say right now. I would say now they are Strange Roots Experimental Ales.
Yes.
And I think they want to kind of change their beer lineup and their beer focus a little bit more.
They want to expand, I think. They're still going to keep a lot of the sours that you know and love, but they're going to expand their selection to other
styles of beer.
Well.
So, we're going to do an outdoor stage there in our parking lot. So as soon as you come in off of Route 28, if you're coming into the festival just as a spectator, the first thing you're going to see is a stage because it's right at that intersection. You're going to see that stage and right beside...
Right in front of a big, beautiful mural.
Yeah.
A Millvale mural. Yeah.
And what a way to be welcomed into the town. Look at there it is, big freaking stage. I mean,
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
so the artists that we have so far, we'll get to the others when they finally pan out. But the artists that we do have are The Night's Watch, Horace Mays, Kleptosonic, Chip and the Charge Ups, which is Chip DeMonk's new band.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising. Like when I first found out he had a whole new band going, I'm like, hey, doing another thing. Cool.
I almost lost it the other day. He does these things on Facebook where he'll ask a question, and he has the hashtag ChipChat.
Chip Chat.
And I loved it. I was like, that's fantastic.
That is clever. I appreciate that. Then the other two bands that we have so far are Max Out and Post Traumatic.
Very cool. That's going to be great. Yeah.
No, I just want to say something about Max Out. They're like a action hero rock band.
Yeah.
Like if you go to their Facebook page and it's like when you see their name, the way it's like capitalized in certain letters, it comes across as Max Out, like that. And their their album cover is like something straight out of like a really cheesy 80s action hero movie. It's absolutely glorious. And I'm really happy to have them paired up with hopefully another particular band. Hopefully I hear from soon.
Very cool. And like I said, we're still some slots that we still need to completely get set up. So definitely stay tuned. Let's see. Here we go. We were talking about Max Out. If I can get it.
Oh yeah.
So that is Max Out.
That's Max Out.
Yeah. So that's what you can look forward to there.
They will be maxing out their volume at the Millvale Music Festival.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I'm very excited about that. That song, let's see if I can find the name. Narcon Atomizer.
Atomizer.
So, trying to read from the screen across. It's hard when you're engineering and trying to talk.
Yeah.
You're like, what is it? So.
So that's what we have for today. I mean, I do have another. Actually, let's do another.
One more?
Let's do another, because I have another stage here. Again, there's a couple artists I've yet to confirm. I'll go ahead and just announce the other artists on this stage.
All right.
New Sun Rising.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited about this.
This is something that we really wanted to do last year, and we
just didn't get around.
We couldn't figure it out because we needed the right place.
Yeah.
And we needed the right atmosphere with the right people running the venue. And, at New Sun Rising last year, we had a mix of various rock bands, but they stepped up with their interest of having some hip-hop.
Yes.
And
so we're really happy about this. We wanted to have a hip-hop stage last year, and there were various reasons why we weren't able to get it done, and we were really disappointed. So this year, we were trying to think, like, what would be the good venue? What would be a good venue? And then they came up and asked if they could have hip-hop. They wrote it on their sheet, and I was thinking, yes, yes, yes. So
now, aside from that, though, I decided to blend some other stuff in there. It's not just hip hop; it's also electronic.
Okay.
Because that's something that I don't think we would have been able to place anywhere else. So we're going to blend the two together. And we have everything from electronic jam bands straight up to full, like hip-hop artists with full backing bands to solo hip-hop artists with their samples that they use.
Awesome.
So we have a wonderful blend. And I still have two more artists I'm waiting for. Really excited about that. And actually, these invites didn't go out that long ago, so if they didn't get back to me, honestly, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They might have to figure out if they're off work or whatever, all that jazz. But yeah, so to the lineup, we have now, and I really appreciate him because he did one of our fundraisers, Mamau Nadon.
Yeah, he did great. He was down at the Panza Gallery, the Groundhog Party.
Yeah. Oh, that was insane. We went so late into the night with that because
that was crazy. That's the second time I fell asleep at Panzas.
Because what was it? The Goodfoots just kept going and going, and nobody wanted to end the party. And it's glorious. So we have Mamau Nadon, we have Back Alley Sound, we have I the Conflict, ID, Brittany Chantel, and then remember what I said about those electronic jam bands, Cosmotron. Oh geez. So Cosmotron and Vimanis. I think I pronounced that right. Vimanis.
Very cool.
So, and a couple more to be determined. So we'll get to that here pretty soon.
That's going to be great. So that's going to be at New Sun Rising. Fantastic, which is the old Moose Lodge. It's called Moose Node, is what they're calling the building now. But yeah, it's the old Moose Lodge.
Well, it does still have the big old Moose neon sign outside.
Yeah.
So you cannot miss it. Moose 68. Is that what it is? 68?
I believe, yeah, something like that. But
that's cool though, because they can actually reuse that sign since they're using, they're calling it like, what'd you say it was again?
Moose Node? Yeah.
Moose Node. A node? I don't know.
They're an incubator program, so
Yeah,
I'm sure it
yeah.
had something to do with what they do.
Yes. No, I know. I never heard that before. That's the
Yeah.
first time I heard it might be called Moose Node.
Yeah. So.
They called it the Hive last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's Moose Node.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's still New Sun Rising. So.
Yeah, that's who occupies the building and owns it. So
Yes.
be very cool. So it's exciting. So lots of good stuff coming up, and you definitely should come out. And again, we've got one more week before we will finalize everything. So
well, actually, it might be a little longer than a week. We'll see, because we are getting down to our solo performers, and we do have another stage that I'm still waiting to get some replies on that I will eventually get to, and we'll announce that next time. It's a full rock stage, but still need some replies from some artists, so I'm going to hold off on that one.
Very cool. So, real quick, what are you excited for, Andrea? Now, this is your first time. You've been on the Minute, your first time involved in the festival. What excites you about this year's festival?
Everything. Like literally everything. I mean, of course, my stage.
I don't blame you one bit.
Again, because I know that just looking back and seeing how many people have attended the festival and everything, this is one of the best things that could ever happen to the kids, and but I'm excited about all the other things and the hip hop. I totally have to check that out.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have that. I could be wrong, so I'm just kind of taking a guess here, but I think the only music festival to really have like a dedicated hip hop stage before us was the Strip District Music Festival.
Yeah.
That
was a hell of a stage. It was like 20 degrees outside, and they're still like plugging it away outside.
Yeah.
And folks are still hanging out and drinking beers and whatnot.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was really cool. And that was Josh Bakaitis who organized that, who is here in the building that we are broadcasting from here at Mr. Smalls. So very cool. So very exciting. Definitely lots of fun. Thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on.
Me.
I appreciate it. So again, don't forget, we have on the 24th Espresso and Grist House beer. You don't want to miss it. The Cheerly Men will be playing, and just so you know, it's going to be at Tazadora and in Grist House. They're joining forces to pair beer with espresso for the festival, and it's gonna be a great time. You do not want to miss this. Let me see if I can get some more information for you here on that. I know they posted it's gonna be $10 to enter, and you will get all you can drink Grist House beer, which $10 for all you can drink beer is right there. That's a steal. All you can drink beer. It's gonna be paired with a delicious shot of espresso from Tazadora. Plus, you can win awesome prizes. And there are going to be more things to be announced, but there's always like 50-50 and everything like that there. And there's going to be, there's going to be relaxing and healing massages being offered by Back to the Earth. There's going to be, this is what's in the gift basket. That's going to be an option. A new look from Salon 22 and invigorating yoga classes from the Millvale Yoga Collective. So lots of good stuff that you can win at this event. That's going to be the 24th. It's going to be from 5 to 8 p.m. on a Saturday. Only $10 to get in. You definitely do not want to miss out on all of that. It's going to be a good time. Let's end with Max Out.
I actually do have some closing notes, though.
Okay, what's that?
Real quick, all the artists that we announced last week, and it will be updated. Anyways, they've all been put into the Facebook event. I don't even know if you noticed that. I just kind of did that stealthily. But if you go to the Facebook event and go to the description, you'll see all the bands that have been announced already, and I will be adding all the announced bands.
Is it on the event page
today.
or the main page?
The event page.
Okay.
The event page.
So
yeah, event description, everything's there, including our full list of venues. I know we didn't announce all the venues yet, but we still have some more venues, and we will get to them in terms of talking to them next time, about them next time.
Very, very cool.
So,
all right, Jonathan, thank you so much. He's doing a fantastic job. Thanks to Andrea for coming in. This has been the Millvale Music Minute. I'm Brian Crawford. The Millvale Music Minute is a production of the River's Edge Radio Network for the Millvale Community Development Corporation. Feel free to hit up the Millvale Community Development Corporation if you want to sponsor the music festival or get involved in any way. It is a tax-deductible donation. But for Andrea, Jonathan, I'm Brian Crawford. This has been the Millvale Music Minute. Do not forget to come back next week for the final listing of
Yes.
bands when we release everything. That's going to be right here on the Millvale Music Festival page. Thank you.